it's one thing to say, like, compared to Ocean's 11, to me, it's like the toenail of Ocean's 11, because Ocean's 11 is far-fetched, for sure. But this has just major gaps in story logic. I'm not talking about like, oh, it's stupid. I'm saying like things that should be here are missing. And it's like, that's not even a story. That's just a bunch of strung together pieces that you're like, look, we just want to tell a heist story and we don't care how it comes together. And even besides anything else, I never thought to be insulted because I was just so bored. It's like, there's so many places where they set up for a joke and don't deliver a joke. And I was like, man, I didn't come here to not be entertained. I want to be entertained. If you want to play stupid or silly, I'm willing to go with it. But you can't just half-ass it and leave big holes for me to do nothing. And so, yeah, to me, it's just a low rental. I was like, wow, I thought I could come at it at some place, and it just kind of just being a waste of my time.
See, that sounds like some bullshit, though. That sounds like your rating should be bullshit.
But you know what?
Because well,
like I said, I like Matthew Broderick. I mean, you know, he gave me chuckles, and I did enjoy seeing Ben Stiller in not the usual role he's in.
So you'd rent it to watch Matthew?
I said a low rental. Yeah. For me, but that's more like it comes on TV and it's a Saturday afternoon and I got nothing else going on. Yeah. Maybe I'll watch it.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth with everything that you just said. I mean, I didn't hate it. How can you hate it? It's inoffensive to the point of just being like forgettable instantly. It's just so boring. There's only funny parts at all. I thought actually the actress who plays the maid, who's the safecracker.
Cinnabon. I was going to say Cinnabon.
I thought she was actually kind of funny. She's playing like, I guess, a Jamaican. Is that what she's supposed to be in there?
When she could remember to do the accent, she was.
But I thought she was kind of funny in it. Like I said, Ben Stiller for once was not playing that same, you know, I wish I was as funny as Woody Allen, but I'm nowhere near as funny as Woody Allen character. Eddie Murphy, it irritated me more than anything else because, yeah, you see that glimmer of the old Eddie Murphy, but there's nothing for him to work with. Yeah. So it was just watching him stumble around, go, ha, this is me. Maybe I'll tell that joke about Mr. T fucking you in the ass if you stick around. I don't, like, it's just made me sad to watch it, really. And there's a few, like I said, there's the beginning of that set piece was fun. There's a bit of action here and there, but it's just all so disconnected. There's nothing that ties it together, and it's only insulting in the level in which that I thought the way the film is treating its audience, going, look, you don't care. You know, you don't really care. You're not interested in whether or not this pieces together as any sort of real story. So we're just going to leave huge sections of it out because you don't give a shit. And maybe, I guess you guys and the rest of the audience didn't. I kind of did because there was nothing else for me there of glue to make me care about it in any other way. But yeah, I give it a low rental because there are little bits here and there, but certainly not enough to strongly recommend it.
Well, I mean, when I rent something, it's because I didn't think about it in the first place to go, you know, I had just no, it's like an afterthought when I go rent something, which is why I think I agree more with Corey, because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm giving it a rental, and I'm giving it a rental because it is stupid as shit, but it definitely had its fun moments. And I think I do see what you're talking about, Corey, with Eddie Murphy. Like he did have some very small moments where I think it was more the Eddie Murphy that I liked when he was reacting with different people, not so much when he's left to his own devices just to be by himself and say, hey, you know, it's like director going, hey, just be funny because, you know, you just need to do that. You're in this movie. I loved his interaction with Matthew Broderick during the movie, and even with Ben Stiller every once in a while. I was like, there's some glimmers of good chemistry. And those parts made me laugh. As stupid as the plot was, I'm like, you know, yeah, I know exactly what's going to go on. I know what this movie is about. I knew how it was going to end. And I mean, I was like, well, but as long as I had fun, as long as you really didn't bore me, I'll give you a pass. And I am. I'm giving this movie the biggest pass ever because I'm sure I'll regret it tomorrow when I wake up. But you know what? I had fun, and it's just an all-out rental for me. So
yeah,
and that's all I want to talk. And the one thing we didn't honestly talk about here was how much at least I enjoyed Alan Alda playing the swarmy asshole that he was.
You just because what I said. I was going to say him and Gabriel Sadib were like
he was
like the two breakout people. I mean, you know, he was to me he was the guy that didn't overdo it. Like when he was saying lines that were really assholish and smarmy, you know. he said those lines like he really meant it.
Oh, he did.
Like,
I mean, you really bought that this guy was
the
just a
man's
complete
great
douche.
veteran actor. But
Yeah.
it's funny you say that. You're like, oh, it's a sweet guy. He's playing a villain. But I've seen him play villains so much in the last 20 years that I forget that he used to play nice guys.
he's
Yeah, I forget he's still alive. But
Yeah, I know. It's like when he came out, like, damn, I thought he was dead already. But no, he was the kind of guy that when he said like a line that was just real dickish, man, it was almost like he didn't even know he was saying it.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's like he was playing it the way a role like that should be played, and we never see. This was this fat cat guy. He doesn't know he's a villain. He's not a villain.
Yeah.
He thinks he's justified.
Yeah.
And so he's playing it off like, he's super smart. No question about it. He's just having fun with his
And you know
little
what?
game.
I agree with you guys that I can see where you think it's boring because when it's starting out, I like the way the movie started out. It didn't start out as ridiculous as the movie progresses, but as it does progress, and especially after they introduce Eddie Murphy, when Eddie Murphy's not around, well, I mean, whether you like him or not, there seems to be a lack of energy in the film. And, you almost want him back, whether you like him or not, like just to kind of speed things along or spice things up. And I know how much you fools dislike this movie. Y'all probably would say, just don't even show that at a theater. If y'all had y'all's way, y'all just boycott that film, wouldn't you? And have other people do it too.
Boycott it.
Wow.
I ain't trying to keep nobody from making money.
I know you're like putting a lot of hate from us on this movie. We're like, no, man, we
no,
just
I'm
didn't
not.
like it.
I say we occupy Tower Heist. Right?
We sit down and keep people from going into this movie. We go into the theater and like yank the print from people. Give me this. But
I'm tired of you Hollywood fat cats making us sit through garbage like this.
except for me, obviously, for the dumbasses like me. But you know what? A boycott almost did happen to where they were not going to show this movie in theaters.
Really?
Yeah, you heard about this. They were going. It was the whole video on demand boycott where Universal wanted to bring the movie to theaters, wide release,
yeah.
and then 3 weeks later have it available on video on demand. I forgot how much it was for.
And there was a boycott that stopped that?
Yeah, because the theaters said, you do this, and that's just going to set a trend for more movies doing this,
Right.
and we're going to be losing money. Well, you know what? Fuck you. We just ain't going to show it. So Cinemark did it because they're the third highest chain in the country. Then like about 50 independents did it, and then everybody not everybody, another chain just said, you know what? The hell with it. And Universal had no choice but to okay.
So what you're saying is this movie is coming out in 3 weeks on video on demand? Is that what you're saying?
No. It's funny because theaters have classically just rolled over and took it from the studios.
Yeah.
I mean, they already got a bad deal that they won't make any money for the first 2 weeks of film is out.
Yeah.
Which sometimes that's the only time people go see a movie. So I'm happy to see they grew some kind of balls and stood up.
They were like, damn, ain't nobody eating that much goddamn popcorn. What y'all trying to do?
I tell you what, they're probably about to go like, well, what we gonna do? But they saw the Occupy Wall Street. I'm telling you, Corey, it's working.
It is, it's in full effect. They saw them people going up against Bank of America.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, shit. But consumers and theater chains
Universal
have
ain't nobody. Fuck you, Paramount.
Stand up for Tower Heist until you see it, and then you sit down real quick.
That's what theaters did. The theater owners, they went and sat in front of the door of Universal Studios, took a shit on the doorway.
Yeah. Although to be fair, when people go sit, they're gonna be like, oh shit, I should have waited for video on demand.
They're taking a shit in that Tron bucket.
Yeah. While they all out there sitting there like, hey, you know what? We should get this up on video on demand while we waiting to boycott this movie. Yeah, so I just thought that was an interesting point because this movie was split on it, and most everybody's like saying it's not that good of a movie, but it is kind of a history-making film in that trend.
Wow, okay.
You were really trying to work this.
I know.
I'm gonna make this shit matter one way or another.
I was like,
You like the sucky movie. Just get over it.
You know what? Tower Heist is the Martin Luther King of cinema. I want you to appreciate
How
that.
dare you, sir? How dare you?
The Rosa Parks of movies.
Well, I think that might be accurate in the sense that he had to have been asleep during this movie and dreamed it. Because there's no way it's as good as he's saying it is.
I'm the Martin Luther King here. I'm gonna stand fast on my opinion. Y'all ain't gonna make me move. I shall overcome. Yeah, y'all ain't gonna sick y'all dogs and hoses on me. By the way, speaking of race things, I will admit that I should not be talking about
Brett
Ratner.
Ratner because I'm talking about how racially insensitive he is, but
I know. It's funny that a guy who runs this site is talking about somebody else being racially insensitive.
I'm just saying, but there's a message behind my racial insensitivity. Yes, something to be.
If anyone's going to be insensitive, it's going to be me.
Thank you.
He ain't doing it right.
You understand? My protege over here. You know, this girl in this, what's her name? Gabourey Sidibe.
Gabourey Sidibe.
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 Cinnabon.
Okay, pretend like you're Pootie Tang.
Pitty Towel to Sidibe.
That's closer. Close enough.
Gabourey on the Sidibe. But
Gabourey Saturday.
I know co-host is gonna agree with me.
No.
I'm gonna make you a racist as much as I'm gonna drag into this because you know when they said the maid went rogue. Now WD see her busted through a window with a bucket of chicken and running like she did in Precious.
That's all I can
And then getting a frying pan knocked upside her head.
I'm surprised she wasn't throwing frying pans at people in this movie.